I'm not a happy rapper. Hey, this guy's putting words together. I don't care what I'm supposed to say. My music is not for children.
Eminem, welcome to Europe. Can you say a few words in Swedish?
Det är dus, det
Come on, you can do better than that.
Det är du som bestämmer. I boxpop ska se ut.
Can you say something else?
Ring across the... Isn't that like hard for you to just like talk in everyday life?
And it's goodbye for me and Eminem.
I'm not a happy rapper. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, it's just not me. I'm fascinated with gore and things like that, you know what I'm saying, in my imagination.
You know, so when he tells stories about his mom, he's got a lot to go on.
Eminem, you know, needed Slim Shady.
Because cats in Detroit they just love that negative shit, man.
This guy's demented. I was like, that was, wow. Sometimes we think about some stuff like that, you have to have some kind of screws loose.
I'm familiar with his relationship, his kind of love-hate relationship with his then girlfriend.
A lot of his angry lyrics were around her. She'd do something to piss him off and write a song.
In Eminem's case, he created that character as an outlet for, you know, sort of the angst that he was feeling. It's like Marshall Mathers may not turn around and tell you to piss off, but Slim Shady would. I find them all amusing on one level or another. You know? And when I say amusing, I mean entertaining and funny and dark and you know, thought-provoking, definitely. Naturally, everyone points to 97 Bonnie and Clyde as, you know, it just blew everybody away, the idea that he would put together something like this and put it on a record. And he made no apologies for it, and he doesn't apologize for any of this stuff.
I mean, I remember the time that he called me up and he read, I mean, he raps over the phone, just the two of us, or Bonnie and Clyde as it's now called. And that was certainly caught me the most off guard, you know, the whole story.
He's definitely got this anger inside of him that he has to get out on his records.
And the sicker the shit, the more controversy you get, the more record sales you get, you know?
I love the mushroom song. I didn't mean to give you mushrooms, girl. Because these are linear tales, they're going somewhere. You start out and you listen and you're going through a hole. He's telling you a story like Slick Rick used to do.
And that's real important because cats don't have concepts in their rhymes anymore. They just rap about the dope and the drugs and all that. And it's tired. And when you come with concepts and stories, it'll keep somebody interested. Like if you hear a tape and all the songs is like that, you can listen to the first verse of every song and just skip to the next song. But then when you hear the first verse and you want to hear what happened in the second verse, you know, so you're going to keep listening. He keeps you tied into the music like that. He's a real gifted cat, very versatile.
You know, the whole idea of rap is to be king of the mountain and me and my boys are going to kick your ass. And he doesn't need the boys. He doesn't need a posse. He doesn't need any of that stuff. He's not interested. For him, it's just, you know, this is me. I'm a freak. I'm insecure. I'm mentally ill. I'm suicidal. It seems to work for him, and people are just so glad to hear something different. And he's remarkable, really.
The balls that it took to write something like that, and just the really throwing care to the wind, you know what I mean? It was definitely some unique stuff that nobody'd ever wrote to a concept like that. You know, there's been lots of concept songs, you know, I Used to Love Her by Common, Lottie Dottie by Slick Rick. I mean, all these different concepts can really stand out and just hold songs together. But this was a new concept that, you know, held together perfectly and really stood out. And to hear him, you know, hear him saying it over the phone, it was like, you know, I could tell it was, you know, he needed to get that on that. He needed to record that. So
all of those things that he wanted to exercise, he could do through Slim Shady. And I don't think it was necessarily a diversionary tactic. I think it just gave him total freedom. And, you know, the last record was a Slim Shady LP. This one's going to be the Marshall Mathers LP. I think that in and of itself demonstrates that he doesn't need Slim Shady. It was just another avenue to demonstrate.
Got rap records, NWA and Ice-T and Too Short back when I was 11, 12, 2 Live Crew, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't going out and raping girls, and you know what I'm saying? And it's you know it, you listen to the shit, and it's like, it's funny to you. Do you know what I'm saying? Those records were funny to me, or they were cool to listen to, you know what I'm saying?
Oakland, California, baby, I'm in London.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you. What's up, Shady?
Alright, man, this is Black Knight coming out to you live. This world's so fucked up, I don't understand. That's why I blaze up with Reckless, my main man. Even he's lost there in the mong. It was probably that fucking coke bar the bong. It's a lot better when you walk the streets. Belly starts rumbling, needs something to eat. When I get the munch, start eating like a dog, then flex it on the couch like a fucking log. Oh my God, I'm seeing double TROU to trouble. In my own world now, eyes look beady. Thinking about Mariah Carey in a pink bikini. Seeing little black dots in the sky. Yes, I'm red, yes, I'm red, yes, I'm fucking high.
Today's hit music, 93.1 DRQ. It's Lisa, and party people, you've been asking for it. Here it is, the latest from Eminem. It's the real Slim Shady at DRQ. Because I always hear it, when I ever think of Dr. Dre or I hear that name, I think of NWA because I'm from back way old school. And so I expect more of what Snoop brings to a song than Eminem. But yet a lot of I think the reality is I think where Dr. Dre keeps him from being too silly so that it's almost unbelievable. I think that edge of reality, that, you know, that sharp little edge that Eminem has, I think that's a little bit of Dr. Dre saying, hey man, keep it real.
I'd have to say Dr. Dre is more influenced by him. Everything I've been hearing lately that Dr. Dre's been doing, even on his album, it sounds to me like Marshall wrote the songs, because Dre never rapped that fast before. Dre was always slow, and you know, not dissing Dr. Dre. I think he's, you know, the ultimate, but it just sounds like Marshall's doing all the writing for him right now, because even on his records, it just sounds like they're Marshall's records.
There was one song he did, I think it was on the last album. I get confused a lot of times with his album that actually came out and what I remember him doing when he was in the studio, but there was one story and it was talking about role models, and it was talking about how young people shouldn't really look to rappers, athletes, whatever he was referring to, as role models, because look at, we're out doing A, B, C, D. Oh, hey, I'm a role model. And I thought it was funny at the time, but again, he's got a real true message, and I think the message really stands, especially in that genre of music, because so many young urban kids, I don't care what color you are, look to these rappers, and if all the rappers talking about gun, gang banging and guns and calling all girls hoes, and kids are emulating these guys as role models, what Eminem is basically saying is, are you crazy? You're making that you're making me your role model. You know what I do? I go out and I get loaded. I go out and I get high. I don't have a girlfriend.
Everybody know he's a man on mission. He gonna roll in the bricks and academy with me and the next man KG. With the girl who blind. With the people behind us, we come from Zimbabwe, the H-Town. H-Town. Gonna bounce, we mess around. You grab a dagger, you stagger. Backstab another rap. Who's my styles is Simba on the rap attack. Simba attack that's on the Peter Pan scam. Do this rhyme alive, I said yes I'm the man. I'm so fly that I took ya to the bricks and towner. Never be knowing what I said and yes you know I smoked ya. Africa, represent. Can you believe the sickness? I'm doing a rhyme so deep that even your shovel couldn't dig this. I'm screaming I, cause Eminem will excite you. He slice you and he dice you, leave you dangling like a bosom. Cause he is making psycho. He bring the mad chaos when you drop it off, and it's Simba on the man from the underground.
No doubt, H-Town representative. What's up, Shady? Get us in! We're on the guest list. Where we at? We got Shady B right here from all the way from California, man, for this show. Dr. Dre's first show ever in the UK. My first day in the UK. It's gonna be a momentous occasion. We're gonna burn it down.
We love Eminem and we love Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre, woo! Dr. Dre. His brother's cute, Dr. Dre.
Oh no. Dr. Dre's brother.
No! Don't diss Dr. Dre on TV.
Oh, but I love Dr. Dre.
West Side, baby.
Fuck bad bitches. Chicka, Slim Shady.
I hope so. Looking for a ticket, man. Hoping not to pay too many quid, man. We're hoping for a ticket. Get us in that video. Come on, Shady. Get us in the door, man. Come on, what's up?
And growing up as a white kid in the States, everybody had the NWA album. It was a had to have. Like Public Enemy's first album. Everybody had it. Everybody knew every word to it. And I think it made a serious difference in the perception of black and white in America. And it's good to see it still going on.
As soon as Eminem is selling all these records, everyone's going on about he's white. Yet when he was underground and he was just a good MC, no one ever said, hey, wait a minute, you're white. No one said that. He was just an amazing MC. The white rap, you know, there was an interesting thing when I interviewed Chuck D, who's the main guy of Public Enemy, right? He said that he wanted to sign Vanilla Ice before Vanilla Ice was signed. That's what Chuck D said to me, right? He wanted to be able to own him because he knew that Vanilla Ice would sell millions. He knew this. It was just all media marketing and promotion that made those people big, and it wasn't about what they were doing, it wasn't about what they were rapping about, it wasn't about anything. The whole mentality of hip-hop has changed now. So it's now open to people like Kid Rock and especially Eminem to come up, because Eminem comes from a background which is very is critically acclaimed anyway. He comes from Dr. Dre's stable, and Dr. Dre could be the best hip hop producer in the world.
Eminem. West side till we both die, Eminem. Love, peace.
Are you gay?
Fuck you, Eminem. Fuck you.
Yeah, man, you know Eminem is good, yeah, but you know what, yeah, I think that in a couple of years we'll be doing shows in Detroit, yeah, and Eminem's gonna be in the queue waiting to see us. So when he sees this, I'm just waiting to remember me, yeah. Yo, I'm causing casualties to mentalities and anatomies, and that's the reason why your faculty don't want to rap with me. Apparently my family can't even handle me. My mother phoned me and told me that she wanted to strangle me. I'm living savagely, but I want to be living lavishly. If my dreams come true, I'll ask my girl to marry me. Attacking rapidly with a pinch of assault and battery. No one's as fat as me, so nobody can carry me. Best know I'm so cold, I freeze your whole soul. My rhymes is so dark, daily fingerprints on coal. One hand grips the mic while the other crushes and glow. You're lacking in lyrics, delivery and breath control. When fake MCs see me, you know they start running. I wear camouflage condoms so they can't see me coming. Wanna ride the rhythm, so hit them with deadly venom. And when I'm in them, I'm wetting up your yeti like I'm jizzing. Don't make me have to grab your egghead and boil it, cause I take the piss like I'm running off with your toilet.
That's when I busted out the thick Ricka Hick dick, rocked her on the waterbed so hard she got seasick. I'm always out looking for the Asian tail. I want to drive my rickshaw up your Ho Chi Minh Trail. Detroit, man, Detroit City, Michigan. That's right, Detroit Rock City. The home of white boy rap, home of the Wiggers.
St. Clair Shores is Marshall's stomping grounds. This is where he came from. This is where he will always come back to. His friends are around here. His family is around here. His daughter's around this area. Gilbert is around this area. Gilbert means quite a bit to him. Marshall, of course, as everybody knows, was here for quite a while on and off. And Marshall, I don't think will ever forget this place. I think he'll always come back and visit it. And when he walks in, he's just an average Joe. He acts, I mean, tries to get away from some of the screaming girls that recognize him. But still he sits down and just chills out and talks with everybody just like we're old times. It almost seems like he never left. Him walking in with his baggy pants.
Exactly. Hanging down to his knees.
Yep.
And his little strut, his shaved head. He used to have a shaved head. Him telling me to shut up. Probably, when I'd yell orders to him. I don't know, if him always saying he's gonna do it and just laughing at him and just his face. I mean, he was hurt. He believed in himself and he knew he was gonna do it, and he did.
My first hookup with Eminem was he called the magazine inquiring about getting some press coverage on him as an artist. And I remember he asked me about advertising and such, and we talked. We hit it off pretty good. I was certain that I was speaking with a black guy on the other end, which is usually I can tell, but this guy was certain. You know, he was definitely from the hood. You know, and after that, met him at a little showcase on 7 Mile called Ebony Showcase. He was performing with his partner IQ, and just did a couple songs off of the Infinite album. And he walked up to me and said, "You're Mark Kemp from Underground Sounds. Did you get the Eminem project? Did you get the Eminem album?" I was like, "Nope. I talked to him one time on the phone, but is he here?" And Eminem, of course, said, "Well, that's me." So after that, we kind of seen each other at a few concerts. He asked me to do some favors with my connections through the Underground Sounds to set him up with some appointments in New York, some A&R appointments. I set him up with 3 or 4 or 5 appointments in New York, and they went real good. He and his partner Bazaar were both, kind of set up collectively, and they were showing a lot of interest in Eminem, but it was nothing major yet. Nobody jumped out of their shoes like eventually they realized they should have. At some point after a couple of those interviews, he asked me to be his manager. He called me up one day and said, "I need you to keep plugging away for me. I want you to be my manager and set up some more appointments and help me promote and all that."
School was not for him.
No. No.
Not at all.
No.
He was never into it and never had any desire to pursue it.
He didn't like other people telling him no.
Right.
He figured that was his decision. As far as his situation with his mother, not good. She called her quite a bit and bothered him quite a bit, but he seemed to get over it and deal with his everyday duties, and all of his spare time and his spare money was just for the music business. He lived and breathed it, and he knew he was going to be a star. He told us. I'd say, go back to school. I said, that rapping's great and all, but go back to school. Marshall wouldn't listen. Marshall wanted to be a superstar, and I'm really proud to say that he is.
people seem to concentrate more on the subject matter that I'm rapping about than realizing, hey, this guy's putting words together that nobody else puts together. This guy's making things rhyme. Nobody really sees the talent, I don't think. Not many people, especially reporters and journalists, they always concentrate on the negativity and the cuss words and this and that, you know what I'm saying? And never stop to think what it takes to actually put, what it actually takes to put that shit in my music.
I'd have to say Eminem right now is the big great white hope. But back then, if you weren't from New York or Los Angeles, you know, you just didn't make it. Yeah, if you were black and you had some talent, you might make it. But if you were white, no way. Wasn't a chance. Yeah, he would come in and he'd be like, okay, why do you got a Kid Rock shirt on? I'm like, well, I support local hip hop and rap and, you know, in the industry, and I know him. And he goes, well, he sucks, and there's a lot of other people out there you should be liking, you know. And I'm like, okay, now you're putting everybody down, but what do you got? Let me hear what you got. And he'd come in from time to time and hand me some of his tapes. First thing he was involved in was something called Basement Productions. And he was 1,000 miles a minute. You couldn't even understand what he was saying. He was going at it so fast. But each time he'd come in with something a little different, a little better, you know, a little better sounding. And I'm like, you know, if this guy could just put it down a little clearer, yeah, he might do something. Oh, this is 6, 7 years ago. And he just bust out a rap in the middle of the store. And everybody would be shopping and he'd be helping people. And all of a sudden, everybody turn around and look at this guy and who's this asshole? You know, this guy, what's he think he is, you know? Oh, that's Eminem. Who? I'm like, Eminem. I'm like, okay, yeah, he's just some asshole. He ain't got nothing to do, you know, ain't gonna make it. But, and then one time we had this in-store with Kid Rock and Isham, and Marshall showed up for that and challenged him verbally to a rap. And Kid Rock said, this is my time, but your time will come. And he told him to just to enunciate and you know, make yourself more clear, and maybe something will happen. And nobody ever thought of anything then, but eventually it did.
No doubts about it, Eminem is far, far better than Kid Rock when it comes to lyrics and delivery and style and flow and creativity. He's just 10 times better than Kid Rock on those types of things.
The really great thing about Eminem and Kid Rock is the fact that they're really down for the home school. You know, it's like they're down with the team, and they're bringing a lot of these people along with them, and they're getting them signed, and they're putting them on their own labels. You know, D12's record, they're working on that one right now, and you know, of course, Kid's got Cracker's record coming out, and you know, it's like it means something to them to be able to help promote the other artists in this town.
He has people from Detroit there. I just finally caught his new video. You know, Proof is in there. I mean, Proof's been around, you know, doing different things, but in terms of representing, making very clear, no, I am from Detroit. Instead of pulling people in, you know, trying to get his label started and signing Detroit artists, like, you know, that not only did I make it, and I'm gonna go beyond just having you in my video, giving you a shout out in my CD case. Like, no, I'm actually gonna try to get you guys signed, or try to get you guys out here as well, get you some distribution, some publicity. That definitely helps.
This is K9 representing Shadow Cabinet. Out here is hectic, crazy. I'm not even joining the queue. I'm getting in though, you know. Gonna hold it down, man. I respect Eminem,
That's right.
you know. That's right here. That's my man.
This is the 18th Angel. We got the Shadow Cabinet.
Eminem concert. I don't know what else to say. Ain't gonna freestyle, but he is.
How many slingers do you know they get fucked? What? How many slingers scream out loud? What the blood clot? Take out 85 with one shot from my full gun. Armor piercing, lyrical missile ripping through your brain tissue. Mama miss you, sister on the street selling big issue. Your mind is gone. Couldn't handle the pain like a lethal injection coming straight to your brain.
Detroit has a long legacy of being a big music town, and now we're seeing that that hasn't gone away. It's just getting bigger and more intense. And once again, the spotlight's shining on us.
This is like a prime example of the material that I play. It's the debut release on my label, House Shoes Recordings. Fat Cat, dedication to the Suckers. He's a Slum Village affiliate, and produced by JD, who's responsible for like some of the nastiest shit to come out in the last few years.
Just truthfully, Fat Cat, you come to a Fat Cat show, just expect to see raw energy, you know, just truth. True hip hop in its rawest form. Yeah, Detroit is full of energy, but it's like the ratio is just so jacked up. It's like 80% whack, you know, it's 80% whack MCs in Detroit, and you got that 20% that's, you know, that's really trying to do their thing, but you know, by being so many garbage people here, that's who get the shine, you know. It's all good though, it's all good. I love my city.
See, the way it was here at the hip hop shop, we had open mic on Saturday afternoons, and M was real cool with Proof, so it wasn't really like, I don't know if it's really like a white thing as far as Detroit is concerned. I know a lot of places it's like that. It's just the fact of being an unfamiliar face. You know what I'm saying? If cats don't know who you are and you're up in their area, you know, rocking their shit, they're gonna be like, who is this cat? Who does he think he is coming in here on our turf? You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I've gone through the same thing. Cats see me at the club and they're like, you know, what's this? This cat should be spinning some old rock and roll shit. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, I got everybody whipped on the hip hop in Detroit, man. I got them turned out. Whenever there's some new stuff out, cats are coming to St. Andrews on Friday to hear it, you know. But when M got his shine, it was that's just another marketing tool for him, you know. There's no white kids out there. Personally, me being a DJ, and I come across a lot of music. 95 to 98% of white rappers it's some rock shit. You know, I like hip hop. I don't listen to Limp Bizkit. I don't listen to Korn. I don't listen to none of that shit. M he's a monster, just period. Black or white, I mean, he's just, no one's really touching him on his mic skills, man. He's just getting in everybody's ass. I like hard ass hip hop, but I like it pretty at the same time. I like it melodic, you know, musical. Not some old Swiss beats shit. I don't want to hear Swiss beats. Keyboard, every track sound the same. I want to be able to hear it go through your whole album, and you're just running the gamut on the musical tip, you know. Keep it somebody. You got to keep somebody interested musically as well as lyrically, you know, because cats can't rhyme without the tracks. But then again, you can just find anybody to rhyme on top of it. You got to have somebody who counts.
And like the venues here, they quick to pay, you know, someone from out of town to come do a show when, you know, the talent here is just as good, and they want us to do the stuff for free. So really, I don't even get into the scene, the music scene or whatever here. I'm just being in the lab doing my thing like that, getting love from everywhere else. Detroit, you know, they really don't support their hometown. They really don't support. They're quick to support people from other cities, and they catch on to their home last.
M had that hunger, and he knew that right after the bat when he put his EP out, and his EP was ridiculous. He put it out, and all the little underground cats was loving it, but he wasn't getting any love from the radio stations. The record stores was telling him they was pushing his product, but he'd go in there and it'd be sitting under the counter, you know. He snatched his stuff out of all the stores in Detroit and just took it on the road. Went out to Las Vegas, California, New York, and they were blowing his product out as soon as he got it to him. So he got the buzz going on the underground, and then we all know Dre heard him rhyming on the radio one day, snatched him up, and the rest is history.
When the Slim Shady EP came out, we did like this listening party, and no one came. I mean, zero. I said, and like I said, when they're giving out those free tapes, I'm giving out his tapes for free, and people were like, "Nah, I don't want. I'd rather not have this tape." So now he's blowing up. People calling me, emailing, trying to get dubs. I mean, literally a few months later, if he got signed to Dre, people would love him, and oh, we want to do all this stuff, and this thing. Damn, you guys didn't show him any love, you know, just a few months ago. So, you know, that was really it. That was just one of the, you know, down-to-earth guys. So.
Incredibly, he doesn't see her, and she has no chance of avoiding him.
Sometimes I like saying shit just to get under people's skin a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Make them pay more attention to me and make them, you know, pay attention to what their kids are listening to, do you know what I'm saying? You know, I come right out and say, like, my music is not for children. It's not really for kids. Not to say the kids won't get it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Though when he first got his first CD out, the one that no one's even seen, I mean, it was one that he made up himself, and he had named himself Eminem. Yeah, he made it like in his basement, and he gave us all a copy, but we were like, wow, this is gonna go somewhere. This is gonna go somewhere.
In fact, I didn't even know about some of the songs he had, and then people would come up to me and tell me about them. And I'd be like, oh my God, I used to work with him. I've known him. He used to hang out with us after work sometimes. He'd never drink. We'd always have to beg him to go drinking.
No, because he was too busy. He had stuff to do. He had stuff to get together.
Always working on
so he could be a star.
The very first full-time job I got on air was at a station called WHYT, 96.3 Jams here in Detroit. And it was a hip-hop top 40 station. And I was doing nights then, which was 10 p.m. to 2 in the morning. So I had a lot more freedom than I do now. And one of the features I had on a regular basis was a thing I called open mic night. And what we would do is we would set up a live DJ in the studio with 2 turntables to mix. And they'd basically just kick beats for like an hour. And I'd invite the local up-and-coming rappers that weren't signed to labels, that didn't have any records in stores, down to the studio to rap live to this DJ. And we had about 12 rappers back in the day, 3 women and the rest 9 or so guys. And Eminem was one of my regulars that would come down. They all had to audition, and what they would do to audition basically is call the request line, say I want to be on open mic night, and they'd have to be persistent. So they had to call a lot, because the first time you're always going to be like, oh no, you blow, you know, I'm not going to put you on. And they had to basically rap freestyle for me on the telephone. So you have to impress somebody without any kind of visual, just with your lyrical, you know, expertise. And so after about 2 or 3 phone calls, we brought him down, and he came with a whole group of guys. It wasn't just him. He came down with, I think his group was called Basement Productions back in the day. There was a guy named DJ Butterfingers that was with him. Vance Parrish, Mannix was another one that was one of his writers and producers. One of the first couple of raps he did, I don't even remember, I think it was that he was locked in a psycho ward or something, but it was almost like a joke. It was like a comedy, but then you listen to it and it had such a dark undertone. But his style was very off the cuff. He wasn't so concerned about rhyming words and keeping beats. He was more interested in, I think, telling his story and almost making you laugh. But then after you think about it, you wondered why you laughed. So I mean, he was stand out back in the day. But it was kind of like, what is wrong with this guy? He's not following your traditional, you know, road to becoming a rapper. So
we booked him for this show up at U of M. It was him, Royce the 5'9", Almighty Jordan. There's a whole bunch of Detroit folks, and M was headline. This is after I think he'd been in the Source and Rap Olympics, and so he was starting to get, before he got signed. But I remember the next day he had to do a show in New York, and he kept calling, but the thing is he ended up not making it because he was tied up in the studio, which, you know, people were disappointed. But the thing that he called 3 or 4 times that night, just in case I'm trying to come, I'm going to make it, you know, can I still come? About maybe an hour before the show, about an hour before the place closed up, he was like, you know, I'm done. You know, I can rush down there and try to do a song. And I was just like, you know, well, he wasn't nowhere east side or whatever. By the time we got out to Ann Arbor, it wouldn't have been worth the drive. But the fact that he kept calling, and then later that week, I'm not sure how much of this and how much the manager had to play in this, but called just like to apologize. And I'm really sorry I couldn't make this show. You know, I owe you one. I mean, now I don't expect it. I mean, whatever. But just that gesture, though. I mean, that was a very important thing. That's something that stood to me because most guys won't do it. They just don't show up, and they get attitude with you. And he was just like, you know, I wish I could have made it, you know, or whatever. So that stood out to me.
And he used to go by Eminem, the letters M and M, and all the other rappers in the room were teasing him and joking him because it was Eminem's, oh, melt in your mouth, not in your hand, and trying to get sexually, you know, dogging him out sexually and all this. And we had a thing called an open mic night challenge where I had 3 or 4 of them, and the DJ just kept kicking the beats, and they jumped on the mic until I timed him and said, okay, next, and whoever either cussed first or couldn't keep the beat first was off. Well, when he jumped on the mic, he turned all of that anger that he felt in the room, teasing him, into a strength, and he ended up winning. And his whole rap that night was about how Eminem ain't what they're trying to say it was, that it has nothing to do with his sexual potency or chocolate-covered candies or anything like that. And I just remember sitting there watching this little blonde white kid, like, what are you doing? How are you turning this around on these guys?
I think I break a lot of rules. I think I say a lot of shit that I'm not supposed to say, or people think I'm not supposed to say. I don't care what I'm supposed to say and what I'm not supposed to say.
And because he's been working hard a long time, he would record his music. He would go out and play, use that material with his audience, get their reaction, and he was doing great. He would go to some theaters here in town, and he would sell out, you know, doing his own promotion, and which was it was really good.
Jamais la patience n'a connu le jour pour un passé amer. Les gens s'enterrent sans avoir vu la lumière du jour dans le futur. Enfant égaré à la recherche de la paix, n'a jamais connu de gaieté, blood. Métamorphosé par le malheur, parle de lumière dans sa filière, toujours en prière. Yeah.
I work with a lot of different artists. I mean, right now I'm working with about 10 different artists: Sun, Paradigm, Telepath Math, Artful Dodgers, B-Movie Fiends, Erratic Static, Thoughtful, The Disregarded. Some of those are, and some of the things I do for artists are make sure stores get their music, make sure the music looks good. Yeah, an Eminem fan would be interested in this record. To pick up the song called Trite Thieves. It was Eminem, Bizarre, and Fuzz kind of passing off the mic to each other. Real tight track. DJ Head did a blazing track. Stuff still gets played in Detroit all over the place. That's what I was doing for Eminem at the time. We put together posters, the album cover I put together for the Slim Shady EP, photography. We did a lot of photography that was real eye-catching. I do all of that. I was distributing his music to stores, setting up interviews for Metro Times, Real Detroit type of magazines and newspapers in the area. Booking shows. A couple times I threw shows specifically, you know, to have him headline and promote him that way. And booked him on some shows like the Hieroglyphics, did a show in Detroit. Razkaz did a show in Detroit, and got him as an opener act for some of these national talent that came in. I took him down to the Scribble Jam, which was one of his big starts outside of Detroit. And the Scribble Jam happens in Cincinnati, Ohio, put on by this guy named G and this guy named Mr. Dibbs, who's a legendary DJ. And I was real in tune with what was going on in the internet and the chat rooms and the news groups and everything, and strongly promoting Eminem that way too. And I started to see this response now that people in Cincinnati and people from Cleveland and people from Louisville and people from Tallahassee and people from all these cities all over the country got a little taste of him, and the buzz started to grow so heavily, and started to see the feedback and everything on the internet, and it was real strong just from that little appearance there. Then from that he got invited to be in the Rap Olympics that was to take place at Rap Sheet in LA, the Rap Sheet annual conference. And so I flew out there with him, and again he came in second against some signed acts, a lot of people that you might know. Came in second in that, and that furthered his approach. And at that point, I met a guy low on the totem pole at Interscope, gave him a copy of the Eminem tape, which I heard later that was the actual tape that Dr. Dre picked up off the floor and said, "This is a cool looking album cover. What's this guy about?" And so that's, to my knowledge, some of the bigger steps in his career building.
All of a sudden, Dr. Dre happens to get one of his little demo tapes that he did, and likes it, and flies him out there. And in the process of this, he had this little thing when he changed his little image to Slim Shady. He had this little EP, and there's like 5 or 6 songs on there. And I guess Dr. Dre heard that and liked what he heard.
I care what my daughter thinks about me. You know what I'm saying? And what my girl thinks about me back home, and my little brother. That's who I care. My immediate family, not, you know what I'm saying? Everybody else, not no offense, you know what I'm saying?
See, I'll tell you this is the story that I tell everybody. When he first came back from Cali, from doing My Name Is, man, he was playing that song for cats and they was losing their minds. They were going, I remember he played it for me after the club one night. He was like, "Come here." He had just got a new used car. I know he got a few cars now probably, but this is when he had first got some money off of it. And cats were losing their minds, but then when the video came out, everybody started hating on him. And I'm like, man, it's just a marketing tool. You can't hate him for what they making him do. Because once you're under contract to the majors, man, you're a pawn in the game. You got to do whatever the hell they want you to do.
So I'm making the video for Kid Rock and Isham debut on MTV. And it was just phenomenal just seeing these guys doing videos, down to earth, just people that I sat around, shot the shit with, partied with. And now they're like these big superstars.
I would say he might have lost a couple listeners when he, dyed his hair blonde and jumped on MTV. But I think the people who pull back from him because of a nice looking video on MTV are really missing out on a lot of stuff. So.
He wants to get rid of this pop image that he's got just because he wins all the awards. Oh, he's this cute little white boy with blue eyes and blonde hair, bleach blonde hair, and they're putting him in this pop category with the Backstreet Boys and Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears and all that, and he's definitely not any of that. And I think once the public gets a hold of this and the lawyers find out about all this stuff, he's definitely not going to be their cute little boy anymore. He's going to distinguish himself away from this crowd.
The best rhyme I done heard from M is this joint off his new album called Stand. I don't know if you heard about it. It's like the first 3 verses are like letters from like this obsessive fan, and each one gets like progressively like more demented, like the cat's losing his mind. The first verse he's like, "Hey, I'm your best fan. I'm just calling to tell you. I want to write you this letter and tell you." Second verse is like he gets into some of the problems in his personal life. And like, "Why ain't you wrote me back? I'm your biggest fan. Why ain't you wrote me back?" The third verse, he's like driving down the street. He's got his wife and baby in the trunk. And he's just lost it. Like, "I put my life into you. I supported you from the beginning and you haven't showed me any love." And at the end of the third verse, my man like drives off a cliff or some shit. The fourth verse is M finally responding to my man, but he just drove his shit off a cliff. He's like, you know, I'm sorry it took me so long to get back at you, you know, but I've been real busy, but my man's already gone. That was a wild song. That's the one that everyone's talking about at the new album that I've heard, for the most part.
Before I even heard it, it was my most requested record here at the station, I think just from the video alone. I just started playing it. I do the mix show also here at the station, and I just started playing it last Saturday night. And I find it especially ironic because the core artists we play here at DRQ are Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and that's who he slays in the song. But I think he's got a very valid point, is that you can sit there and be cookie cutter bands with some producer handing you songs where you're not really thinking, you're basically brain dead as an artist. The choreographers are teaching you how to dance, they're teaching you how to sing, this person's telling you what to sing. Whereas he and a lot of artists like him are doing all the creation. I mean, Kid Rock plays how many instruments? You know what I'm saying? He writes his material. So I think it's, again, it's a funny story if you look on the surface, but underneath, I think he's got a real good point.
I think his last one, the new CD that came out, is just it's fabulous. Yeah. He's been made fun of by all these people and wannabes, people who want to be Slim Shady. And this last one's the best one. It says, "Stand up, the real Slim Shady, stand up," and he's the real Slim Shady.
From a Caucasian guy, rap always seemed to me to be such a closed group. You know, you had to be African American, you had to be talking about guns, you had to be talking about drugs and pimping girls and this kind of thing. And so for him, a Caucasian guy from Detroit, to be talking all this silly stuff and all this nonsense, it was shocking. But it wasn't, because I know how persistent he was. I know how dedicated he was and how much he believed in himself and how much he wanted it. So yeah, I was shocked that, I think more that the record label picked him up, that Dr. Dre found an interest in him, and that the public liked him. But I wasn't shocked that he took it as far as he did.
I knew he was going to be a star. There was no doubt in my mind that boy that worked here as a fry cook at Gilbert's was going to be a superstar someday. And we all knew it. And we were very proud of him here.